Hello and welcome to the Outdoorsy Educator Podcast, the show where curiosity meets the open road. I'm your host Alistair, and I invite you to join me as we explore the world through travel, nature, getting outside, and the power of learning. Each episode, we will dive into stories from inspiring educators, adventurers, and global citizens who are reshaping what it means to learn, whether it's in a classroom, on a mountain trail, or even halfway across the world. From backpacking trips that change your perspective to educational journeys that transform communities, we will cover it all. So pack your curiosity, lace up your boots, and let's discover how the world teaches us, one step, one story, one adventure at a time. Since 1970, Whole Earth Provision Company has been the Texas outfitter for side quests big and small. Whether you're gearing up for the open road, chasing a trailhead, or hunting for that just right gift, they have got you covered. Think durable clothing, shoes that will actually go the distance, gear that's road trip ready, and books, puzzles, and toys that will spark wonder at every age. You'll find Whole Earth in Dallas, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio, or anytime online at wholeearthprovision.com. And hey, because you're rolling with the Outdoorsy Educator Podcast, here's a little extra love. Use the code OutdoorsyyEDU for 20% off your next adventure at Whole Earth. And on this week's episode of the Outdoorsy Educator Podcast, we have founder of Mummy Travels, Meagan Wriston. Meagan, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Good, yeah. Thank you so much for being here. We've been trying to connect for a little bit, and we finally managed. I know you live not very far from me, but we're both quite busy, and I'm just really appreciative that you have made the time to talk.
Of course, glad to make it happen. I was out of town for I think 25 days straight, so got home a few
Goodness.
days ago.
Well, we'll certainly get into that, but I stumbled across Mommy Travels on Instagram and was just I like travel pages, businesses that really seem to focus on community and building a community. And it struck me just looking at your pictures that that's a big part of what you do. So wanted to reach out and talk to you a little bit about that. But why don't you tell our listeners about Mummy Travels? Where did this idea come from? What is it? I'm sure they would love to hear from you.
So I started Mommy Travels in 2008 before travel blogging was kind of a thing. It's a travel and lifestyle blog, so I cover all aspects of travel, whether it's family. I'm single, so I travel a lot with my girlfriends. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just family travel." It's not. It's all of it. And especially like you can't be around for almost 2 decades and not cover literally every aspect of travel at this point.
Right?
Um, but yeah, I started it. I met a coupon blogger. Um, so I'll back it up. I was a military wife for 15 and a half years. We moved nine
Hmm.
times in 11 years, and I could not get a
Goodness.
job.
Right.
And I was very frustrated. And even if I did get a job, the a brack would drop, and the next thing you know, we're moving. So I'd have to quit that job. So it didn't matter if I got a good job. I'm gone anyway in 6 months or less than a year. So I was looking to build something, and I didn't know what that was going to be, but I wanted a job. And so I was at a Mothers of Preschoolers, which is a nonprofit at like local churches usually, and it's a
Hmm.
great way to meet other mommies. And when I'm moving every 5 seconds, I'm desperate to meet people everywhere we're stationed. So I would join a MOPS group. And one of the days I was at this MOPS group and they had a coupon blogger there. And this was when like they were having those couponing shows where people were like doing those massive grocery
I
hauls.
remember
and
those, yes.
and she brought in all these like all the grocery ads and the Walgreens coupons, and she was like trying to teach this coupon method. I didn't understand any of that. That's too complicated for me, and I'm not going to spend hours to get, $50 worth of free groceries. That's not a good use of my time. And so which it's fine for other people. I think it's great. But for me, I was just like, this is too complicated. But during her talk, she's like, go to my blog, go to my blog. And this is 2008, mind you. So I'm like,
Right.
what's a blog? So I went to her blog and I'm like, oh, this girl's making money. So I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, would you mind talking to me about this? She's like, yeah, of course. She was really good friends with one of the gals at Mops, and that's why she was there. And so she was really kind about it. She wouldn't tell me how much money she was making, but she said, I'll never teach again. Well, this is in the panhandle of Florida, 2 decades ago.
Right.
And I happen to know how much a teacher gets paid in Florida because I'm on the wait list for a teaching job.
Right.
And which fun fact, 4 years later, I got off the wait list, and by then I lived in Portland, Oregon, so I didn't get
Right.
the
Yeah.
job.
Didn't go do that.
Yeah, so she said, "I'll never teach again," and I knew, kind of based on her age and like how many years maybe she'd been teaching in the Panhandle of Florida, that could be 28 to $38,000 at that time. And I thought, you know what, $28,000 a year is better than no dollars.
Right.
So I think I'll start a blog, and so I started several blogs and tried to figure out like what do I know enough about that I could turn this into something? And we lived in Panama City Beach, and then we got stationed in Las
Hmm.
Vegas, and then we got stationed in Portland, Oregon. Those are all travel destinations.
Right.
So, ironically, all the blogs I started to be a business didn't work, but I had started this family blog where I talked about what we were up to because our families live far away, our friends live far away. So I'm like, today we did this. Last week we did this cool weekend trip, and I'm just talking about it on Mommy Travels. And that's the blog that hit.
I love that, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that was the one that you were most passionate about anyway, because it's about you and your family.
Yes. And it was the
Yeah.
most relatable because I wasn't
Right.
trying to make money. So go
Yep.
figure. But yeah, and then when people are looking for like where to eat in Panama City Beach, I've just talked about this, killer restaurant we
Right.
went to that just opened and it was so fun. And here's the kids playing. They put a playground at the beach at this restaurant, and turns out other people want to go there and do that same thing. Well, when it starts catching on, I realize what's happening. So I'm like, oh, 20 best places to eat in Panama City Beach. Here we go.
Right. And then it just starts to grow and grow from there. And
Hmm.
then, I mean, I love the fact I've spoken to quite a few people who have done similar things, but they all started, I would say, in the last 5 years, maybe 10.
It's a
You're an OG at this.
Yeah,
You,
so it's a
yes,
lot easier to start now.
right.
So, I mean, when I started, there were no resources, there were no courses, there was no such thing as WordPress. I started on Blogspot.
I remember that. Remember Blogspot? Yes.
Yeah, so when WordPress got invented, I'm hearing about it and I'm thinking, maybe I should switch. So I was probably 3 or 4 years into this when I switched to WordPress, and I was like, wow, this is so much better. And then used to, there was no such thing as like these ad companies where you become part of an ad network and they just run your ads for you. I'm putting ads in by hand.
Right.
So
And that, I'm sure, has paid dividends as things have changed and your business has grown. Now, how does, I'm on Instagram and I can just about navigate TikTok and, I don't know. Some of that's a little beyond me still. Now, where does blogging fall these days? Is that still something that's active, or have people kind of moved away from that in terms of your audience and it's now social media based?
I think there's multiple things happening at once. I
Right.
think a lot of blogs are falling off because they don't know how to run the whole things and they've outsourced so much that as the rise of AI has essentially stolen traffic because it
Hmm.
crawls your website and gives the person the answer for free so they never come to your website. As their traffic has declined and they've made little to no money, or as they lose that, whatever the revenue was, if you take a 75% hit and you're outsourcing everything, you're done. Your business is tanked.
Right.
Luckily, I've been around so long, I know how to do everything myself. So I'm able to trim the fat real fast because I don't have to outsource it and I don't necessarily have to pay anyone else to do it. So I'm still blogging and I update my blog 1 to 5 times a week, depending on what I'm up to.
Right. And I'm guessing that you've got a core following, people who have
I
been,
do. Yeah, I've got a
yeah.
newsletter that goes out every week to more than, I don't know, 30,000, 60,000 people. So, this is because I have been around for so long. I'm very lucky. So I got hit with AI just like everybody else, which is unfair and not a lot you can do about it yet.
Right.
Um, but because I do have such a large following on a newsletter, on Instagram, here, there, and everywhere, it all adds up. So I would say, I know some people just do Instagram. I was on a trip with some people and they're just Instagrammers. And I thought that's
Hmm.
so interesting that the brand values that and it is valuable. Everybody's on Instagram and everybody watches it and says stuff and bookmarks it. But after about 24 hours, it really drops off.
Right.
Whereas a blog is going to continue to produce day after day after day. And I mean, and if it hits, man, it
It
really
really.
produces. Whereas, my best Instagram has a couple of million and then it tapered off.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I mean, I've made some Instagram posts that people have really liked, but then it's difficult to refer people back to it in a couple of months.
It is.
People have to go and search for it a bit, or gets bit with a blog. I imagine once it's made, it's there forever and easier to find.
Well, it's interesting. I just had a video go viral that I posted about, it was just I did a walkthrough. I was staying on a private island in Belize called Cayo Espanto, and
Okay.
it's a super luxe property. And I mean, I see why it went viral, but it got picked up in India. And I don't know how many people
Really?
from India are coming to Belize on vacation. I would assume not many.
Right.
So that's really cool that it did that well, and I'm happy it did that well, but I pushed it out it still went on my website because that's Americans and they're going to travel to Belize. And so I have the ability to put content in front of a certain audience. Not that I control the audience on my website, but it is very
Of course.
American. So
Right.
whereas Instagram, I mean, if it gets picked up in some random country, I have no control over that. So
Absolutely. That's so interesting. I wonder why, just thinking somebody with India has the income to go to a beautiful island, there's plenty in that part of the world. So I
mhm.
wonder what drew them to Belize.
I don't know. I don't
That's
know. I was just, and I got so excited because I was like, "Ooh, 100,000 views and really fast." And then 150. That I was like, "Man, this is just going up, up, and up." And then I looked at it and I was like, "Hmm, I don't
yeah,
know."
I'd be curious as to what's going on there. That's
Yeah, because I don't have a
interesting.
large following from India on Instagram, so I have
Right.
no idea what happened. One person probably shared it or reposted it, and it just
Right,
blew up.
somebody with a following there. So you have
Hmm.
your successful blog, it's going well. How did you, let's say, well, just over 10 years ago, social media really taking off 10, 15 years ago. How did you find that transition into having to develop a platform on Facebook, Instagram, things like that when things really started?
Well, you got to back it up even further than that. I mean, when
Right?
Twitter hit the market, I was one
Right.
of the first people on Twitter, so I've got a really nice Twitter following, but they're not active on it anymore. So, so it's like
Yeah.
you amass this big following and it's going great and it goes great for years and then it's done. Same
Right.
thing with Pinterest. I amassed a massive following on Pinterest and it was like the gift that kept on giving. It's dead as a doornail now. So, at least for me, it is. So, and then TikTok, by the time TikTok hit the market, I'm burnt out on building a following on every social media hitting the market. So, in COVID, when TikTok blew up, I'm not even on it. So, I was so late to the game. My TikTok is I have no following on TikTok. So, go follow me
Right.
on TikTok.
Okay.
It's my name. Um, but yeah, so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hustling. Like, so I started creating content. So Instagram's probably my biggest social media platform. So if I'm going to create a reel for Instagram, I'm going to repost it on TikTok. I'm going to repost it on YouTube Shorts. I'm going to post it on Pinterest. I'm going to post it on Facebook Reels. So because it is so much work with so many platforms, I kind of create the content once and then just share it everywhere I can think of.
That's very similar to me. I'm not somebody who is or really aspiring to make income from social media. I'm very thankful to have a job I love. It's just something I enjoy. But we all have only so much bandwidth. And it's like I enjoy Instagram. That gives me things I'm looking for. I have a community there. But when we start talking about threads and even TikTok and other things, I can't dedicate or even honestly really want to dedicate the same amount of time to all these different things.
Yeah, it's just a tremendous amount of work. So I know
Yes.
some people don't take social media like as a very serious job, but it is so time consuming. So
I didn't fully appreciate that until I started this podcast. I've now met lots of interesting people who are spending hours a day. I mean, at minimum for some, it's a part-time job, if not more, just creating and putting out content with no guarantee of what will happen with it. It's,
yes, yeah.
yeah, it is truly a grind and survival of the fittest, it
And that
seems
is
to
kind of
me.
why like it's smart to put the same piece of content everywhere because I'm shocked how well something will bomb on Instagram and just blow up on YouTube Shorts and I'm like, okay, great.
Isn't that interesting? Like, who
Yeah.
knows how the algorithm actually works? And when did you sort of develop and start creating actual trips for people? I'd love to hear the sort of transition into that because you take groups places, is that
Oh, so I
correct?
just did that for the very first time. That's new. That's
Oh,
brand
right.
new.
Okay.
So I just kept getting asked over and over again, like, do a group trip, do a group trip. I want to go with you. And so I was very nervous about it. I just took 14 women to Fredericksburg, Texas for the very first time. It went
Ah,
awesome. It could not have gone better. We had such a great time. And I've been to Fredericksburg so many times on press trips. I know all the things to do. I know where to eat, what to do, where to shop. I know which wineries suck and which ones are great. Like,
right.
so everyone's like, this itinerary is incredible. Like, that was just, and I was like, yeah, it was.
Right, because you've got this down to a science in
Yeah.
Fredericksburg.
Yeah. So, and then, sometimes people just want to work with us. So, the kids and I are going to host a Thanksgiving cruise with Emma Waterways, not this year, but next. And so, families that have kids similar ages as mine, which they're young adults, they're not children.
Hmm.
And they want everybody in the family, these different ages, to be happy. So they really like the idea of like you have built-in people to hang out with that are the same age as their people. So that should be pretty fun. So a handful of people have booked that cruise to cruise with us. So it'll be really neat to see how that goes.
I love that. And is that kind of the direction that you feel your brand, your business will go? There seems to be lots of interest in it.
I don't know. The Fredericksburg trip went so well that I did go ahead and become a travel agent. So now I can book people's
Mhm.
travel. I haven't actually done that yet. I'm still going through the training. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think it'll just be one slice of my business.
Right. Not all your eggs in one basket, which seems like
Right.
a
So
yeah.
I'm going to St. Martin. I'm staying at a resort in
Hmm.
St. Martin in February. And I thought, wow, this is a great resort. I should open this up. So I'll be there on a press trip. So I'm there working. But I was like, how easy would it be for me to say, hey, girls trip, meet me
Right.
there? I mean, it's
Right.
all inclusive. So if I'm eating at this restaurant, so can they. So I'm trying to kind of like figure out what that looks like. Is this possible? Is this a good idea? Or does it need to be completely separate from, if I'm on a press trip, I'm on a press trip and it can't be anything else. I'm not sure yet.
That's
I'm trying to figure that
interesting.
out.
I'll be curious to keep watching your Instagram and see how this story develops.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this must be a quandary that a lot of people run into as their company grows and new opportunities come around.
Well, and I've noticed a lot of travel
Hmm.
writers have quit doing travel writing because their websites are doing so bad. And so they became
Right.
travel agents. I'm really lucky. My website's doing okay. I took the hit like everybody else, but then it started going back up. And I do think it's because I've just been I have content from 2008 onwards. It's just I have thousands and thousands of articles. So I just didn't get hit quite as bad as other people. But I was shocked how much I enjoyed leading the group trip. But I was really nervous going into it. You've got a lot
Right.
of different personalities. I knew I knew the majority of the people coming, but not all of the people. And then some of the people, even though I knew them, I'd only met them once or twice. I didn't know them.
Right.
And when you put a group of 15 women together, I mean, it could go great. It could be a disaster. But I really thrive in that scenario. I'm extroverted. I really enjoyed it. I had a blast, and I thought, yeah, I should do this.
I love that. And I would hope that by simply getting together on this kind of trip, there's a commonality amongst the group. It's a certain kind of person I assume would want to go on a 15-person girls trip
Yeah.
to Fredericksburg.
Well, and it was really cool too, just because it was women. I think the age range was 45 to 78. And then I watched people making connections, people that had never met each other. The only thing they had in common was that they know me. Um, make deep connections. Like a few of them have lost their children and they were able to like really connect. And others had that, like there were two gals that have just, they're both estheticians and they really related. And because I mean, depending on the economy, that's a very economy driven career. So they're had the same frustrations and it was so cool to watch them connect, and they had a bunch of other stuff in common. It was they're like, "How have we never met each other? Megan, how have you never connected us before?" And I'm like, I don't know."
I
Like,
don't know.
so it was so deep and meaningful at times. I couldn't believe that it was happening. And I was like, wow, that's so cool that I get to be a part of this. Like,
I do love that. Two things sort of spring to mind. The first, I've written this down on my little show notes that I do before I interview someone, is it seemed to me like you'd built this huge community because it came through on the photos you posted. It looked like this tight-knit community, which I'm surprised to hear that these people didn't know each other because
yeah,
it radiated through the screen that these people had bonded. And I love that you're talking about that.
yeah. And I think just with the rise of social media, people are more isolated.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily know that people, and I think as you get older, I leveraged my children when I was younger to meet other mothers, and that's how I made friends because our kids were the same ages and we were
Right.
maybe doing volunteer work together or we're on a field trip together over and over again or something like that. So you meet, or our kids are playing together in the neighborhood. But as you get older, at least for, I'm an empty nester now come June. How do I go outside the house and make a new friend?
Right. It seems simple, but it's really not.
It can be really
Um,
challenging. I live in a really cool neighborhood, so they have like it's a master plan community, so
mhm.
there's a lot of like kind of neighborhood networking. So like last night I was out with neighbors playing bunco, and one of them I
Right.
hadn't seen in 2 years, and she's like, "Hey, I saw that Fredericksburg trip." I was like, "Oh yeah, you should go on the next one. It was great."
Right.
So, but
Yes.
I think even if you do have like you're plugged into a few things, you still like you might want to travel and not have anyone in your life that wants to travel with you. So I know several of the
Yeah.
women that came, their husbands won't travel, you know, whether it's they're too busy with work. One of them just works constantly. So he's never available to travel with her. And then another one, he's just as they get older, he physically can't, but yet she's still in really good shape. So she's able to travel and she had a blast. It's her very first girl, she's in her 70s, and it was her very first girls trip.
I that just makes me smile. Like I love
Yeah.
that idea. And I love that, thinking through all the people I've talked to over the last year and beyond, it doesn't really matter to me if it seems if you go to Fredericksburg or Belize or you're going to base camp at Everest or a safari, it's community. It's the people you meet that truly make or break the trip. And a girls' trip to Fredericksburg just seems to echo that sentiment that, yeah, Fredericksburg, I've been there once, maybe twice. Lovely place. But the people you meet is what really, really
Hmm.
makes the trip wherever it is you may go.
I know, and I just got such a great group. They were all just so wonderful. I bumped into one of them 2 nights ago, and I was so shocked to see her.
Right.
I wasn't expecting to see her. I hadn't seen her since the trip, and I was at a holiday market and bumped into her. I was
I
like, "Oh
love
my gosh, how
that.
are you doing?" Yeah.
Right? Where a lot of the people who went on the trip were, both in the DFW area. Are they from here? Or is it people came from
There
all
were some
over?
from DFW, some flew in from Oregon,
Ah.
others came in from other job markets like Houston, San Angelo. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it was an assortment.
It's a nice, diverse group.
Mhm.
Well, I find this fascinating. I should have mentioned this earlier. So, my daughter got married earlier this year, and I have no military experience now. Nobody in my family really does, but she is married in, a military man, and so I'm now learning about this. It's not even a lifestyle, a life. When you are married to somebody in the military, so it's tough, it's challenging, and while she will be in Kansas for a couple of years, it's going to be a challenge when they move because who knows how often.
It is because you
It
just start
is.
over. I mean,
Mhm.
the longer we were in, the more we bumped into some people. And instead of showing up and knowing no people, we knew one family or two families, or and that was so nice. But yeah, when you don't have, yeah, it can be really tough. Luckily,
Yeah.
the military squadrons or they have a lot of resources to connect people. So
Yeah, I mean, this must be a fairly universal problem or
it
issue
is.
amongst all branches of the military, all families. People need to make connections to feel like they belong somewhere.
Mhm.
If we take just a little sidestep from your business, obviously you've traveled quite a bit. I'd love to hear about your favorite place or favorite trip that you have been on.
Oh my goodness, favorite trip, favorite place. Oh gosh, I've been on a lot of really good trips.
Right?
I've got, I have several favorites. I really love Greece. I think Greece is wonderful, but I think it's a lot like Texas. I feel like the people are a lot like Texans, but they're Greek. And I was like, if Texas was an island, it would be Greece.
There's something to that. I would agree. And it's a positive, I mean, I'm assuming you mean this is a positive thing. It's a friendliness. It's
Oh yeah. No,
a
I'm a
door
Texan, so I
open.
love Texans. Oh, I mean
Right.
this is very good thing.
Yes. That's the way I see it. It's a opening the doors to the strangers. Come join us at our table.
Yeah, Greece is such a
Yes.
vibe. Like the people are so nice and just they like to have a good time. It's affordable. I feel like no matter where you go, whether you go to the islands or not, I mean, you can stay on mainland.
Hmm.
Thessaloniki's amazing. Halkidiki's amazing. Athens is amazing. But yeah, Santorini, Mykonos, the ones you hear about the most, also amazing. Like it's all of it. It's ancient. It's good food, good people, good prices. Um,
I may have to talk to you about Thessaloniki off the air. My stepdaughter is going to study there in January for a semester. Um,
you have to go.
yeah, at some point I'll have to get across there and visit.
I mean, it's ancient. It's in the Bible.
Yes, right. It's truly a biblical place.
Yeah. And
Um,
a lot of the structures are there and they're
right.
still digging them out. I mean, it's phenomenal.
You are
So,
walking amongst them.
mhm.
So, that's going to be a good excuse for me or my wife and I to visit. But she'll be there for 4.5 months, I think, on just a student exchange sort of program.
Yeah, we stayed at
Um,
the Astoria Hotel. I really liked it.
right. Yeah, I may have to, as we get more details coming in over the next 6 weeks, I may reach out to you and find out things to do. Now, where do you see Mommy Travels going in the next couple of years? Do you have any goals that you're not quite there yet? Any vision, or are you just kind of organically growing?
Um, I think it's all of it. It's both. I continue to just grow it based on what we're up to. I just went to Mazatlan and Belize, so I just dropped 4 articles on Mazatlan and a bunch of content for Mazatlan. I'm still working on my Belize content. I think I've only dropped 2 articles for that so far, but so whatever I'm up to, I continue to do that. Some of it's strategic, like what do I think people are looking for? What do I think my website will rank for? What do I think would resonate with people? What are people looking for, researching? I know on TikTok, I just read a study and it said that a like a huge percentage of people are researching where to eat on TikTok. I didn't know that. So I'm about to crank out some food content over there.
Right,
See how it does. Maybe it'll flop, maybe it'll hit, who knows, but I'll at least try. So some of it is strategic. I launched a podcast with a friend of mine. She decided that's not for her, so she's going in a different direction. So I'm going to keep doing it. My daughter is going to be my co-host now because she's traveled her whole life, and
right,
we go on a lot of the same trips, so we can talk at length about them. So it's a travel podcast called Her Travel Expert. Um,
right,
I do automotive journalist, so I already had Her Auto Expert, which is an automotive website for women. And so I didn't want to continue with the mommy because a lot of people are like, oh, well, you only do family. I'm like, that's just not true. Like,
right. I mean,
you
I could,
know,
yeah, an
I'm
easy
like
assumption.
some of my top articles are like girlfriend getaways or adults all inclusive resort in, whatever island. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Right,
And some
look
people
past
can't
it.
look past the word mommy and they're like, oh, you're a mommy blogger. I'm like, I have never been a mommy blogger. That's a very specific niche, which I have not. embarked on. But you know,
I love that. I'll need to see if I can connect you. I've spoken to a couple of people on this podcast and have some other friends who are women whose passion is getting other women into the overlanding community. You know, they have the tents on top of their SUVs, go out into the mountains and the deserts and spend the weekend together.
oh, I'm very familiar with that. I have a
Yeah.
Bronco and I
Oh,
love to off-road.
I've got my 4x4 Explorer, which is rattling
Beautiful.
along, but yeah, the new Broncos are pretty nice. I see a
Yeah,
lot
I
of them
love it.
around, and I kind of wish that they were the new shiny toy, but not very good. But unfortunately, they're awesome. Like they're fantastic vehicles.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, it is an off-roading machine. The
right,
only thing is I get a little like I paid for this car, so I don't want to damage it, but
right,
I realized the other day, I don't know which off-roading trip it was, but I gashed the one of the rims real bad. I mean, it's
right,
trashed. I was like, how did I not notice this?
right. Maybe you're having too much fun. I'm guessing.
Apparently I was having a great time.
Right. Well, I love that. Yeah, that might be my next car. I'll hold on to the Explorer till the wheels fall off it. I like Ford vehicles and the Bronco. I
I
know
do
a
too.
couple
I
of
had an
people.
Explorer. I
Yeah.
think we sold it at 250,000 miles.
Yeah. I mean, it's without getting too much into car chat, the transmission on mine is notorious, but that was rebuilt before I bought it. So
Oh,
it's got
yeah,
120,000 miles on it, and I want to get another 100,000 out of it.
you
So
will.
yeah, like I really think we will. Well, as we kind of come around the corner here into the home stretch, I've got three questions I would like to ask
Okay.
you. I'm going to put you on the spot. Um, is there a book in particular that has had an impact on your life?
An impact on my life or my
Yes,
business?
either way, you can take this whatever direction you want to go. Just a book that you would, you may read again, you would hold on to if people were looking for a recommendation of an impactful book, if there was one that stands out to you.
An impactful book. I read
Uh,
a lot. I read about 50 books a year.
Goodness, good for you.
Um, I mean, I really love The Hunger Games. Have you read the new Hunger Games book? I mean,
Uh,
it has nothing to do with my life, but I really
no,
like it.
that's what we want. That's what we want to hear. I've not because I find it not intimidating, but I know it's a commitment. Like you got if you're going to start it, you got to see this thing through.
I've got my 12-year-old niece. She's on book 2 now. I'm like, yes, because I babysat my nieces a couple months ago, and I was like, have you read The Hunger Games? She's the perfect age to start reading it. So,
I love that. Well, I'm
yeah, it's
going to
something I
chuck
enjoy.
that
I
in.
read it with the kids.
Hmm.
Um, there's this futuristic young adult fiction
Hmm.
series. It's the Scythe series. It's like, I think the first book's
Okay.
Scythe, the next book is Thunderhead, and the next one's The Toll.
Right. It sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay,
Yes.
and it sounds really weird, but it's very futuristic, and AI is kind of controlling the world. And I'm like, uh-oh, here we go.
Right. It's like that reminds me. I can't remember what streaming platform it's on. Is it Black Mirror? Which a lot of the stuff is set in the future, and it's very like that.
Yeah, I read it years
Yeah.
ago. So my daughter loves Neil Shusterman, and he
Right.
writes all this young adult futuristic. Um, I'm trying to think of what that genre is called. There's a specific word for that genre, and now I'm blanking on it.
It's
But
not. It's not
I
dystopian, is it?
just yes,
Is
yeah,
it? Okay.
dystopian. I think that
Yes.
is it. And so when my kids were younger, like my son wanted to read The Hunger Games, I'm like, well, I have to read it first because I'm not sure. And so I got in a habit of every book they read, I read so we could discuss it. And so I've read all these dystopian, futuristic, and that was a decade ago. And now I'm like, oh, I can see it coming. Like,
Right. You know where this is
uh-oh.
going.
Yeah.
I love that. And particularly, I ask every guest this question. I'm particularly interested to hear your answer, just given your career. How has success and the definition of success changed for you since you started Mommy Travels almost 20 years ago?
I think a lot of times what I would measure success by was the phase of life I was in. So I'm a stay-at-home mom. I want to make some income. Oh, my blog's making a little bit of money. Success. Now I'm getting divorced and I got to figure this out. And I got to turn this into a real money maker. This is make or break it. Like I got to survive. I got to raise these kids. And I did. Success.
Right.
Now they're entering college. Things are only getting more expensive. Now I've got two in college at the same time. I'm doing it. I'm paying for their school, feel really good about it. One's graduated debt free, which is unheard of in America.
Mm-hmm.
Success. So I think that's how I measure success is,
I love that,
providing.
that. Yeah, and you're tying it to like a tangible goal, providing for your
Yeah.
children, college, things like that. My final question, I'm tweaking this a little bit to be more specific to you, but on your next Fredericksburg trip, if you were going to go for a long weekend, if you could invite and have them attend one person in the entire world, somebody from history, present day, somebody you know, somebody you've never met, a celebrity, an author, anybody in the entire world, who would you like to take with you on the trip?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive, anybody,
Oh,
any human
my
being.
mother. My mom.
Right.
Yeah, my mom passed away 3 years ago, so three
Oh,
and a
I'm
half years
sorry.
ago.
Right. Yes, to
So
take her
yeah,
on that trip would be a
I would
wonderful
wish
experience.
I could take her anywhere. So
Right. The grocery
we
store,
were
isn't it?
we were headed on a big trip to Italy, and we were taking her for her 70th birthday, and she died about a
Mm.
week before we were supposed to leave
Oh,
for the trip. So, and that was going to be her first year Europe first. I was like, I can't. I'm like, how unfair that I've been to 38 countries, and the one time I finally get to take her,
right.
so that's tough.
That
That's tough.
must be tough.
So,
And I'm sure there's a little bit of you that when you go on these trips, you're kind of doing it in her honor a little bit,
every trip.
taking some of her with you and all
Yeah.
these places. So,
Like anyone that's lost a
yes.
parent, they know it's
Hmm.
always like right there. So,
Yeah.
but I do have the book I read over and over again. I did realize what it is, and it's obvious. And it's the book probably most people read over and over again. It's
Hmm.
the Bible.
Right. Yep, that comes up many, many times. So I love it. Well, I'm excited to see where all the different branches of your ventures go, and I'm excited to keep following you on Instagram. Megan, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for spending this time with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you again to this week's guest, and I hope today's episode was as enjoyable for you as it was for me, and perhaps even inspired your next adventure. If you did enjoy the show, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. You can find more information at theoutdoorseyeducator.com or follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. Until next time, thank you so much for listening to the Outdoorsy Educator Podcast.